Yeah, this is from Likutei Siches. A Sicha from the Lubavitcher Rebbe was said on 21st of Kislev, Tufshin Yud Gimel, 1952. It's about Chanukah. The mitzvah von Chanukah is anzünden Licht, to kindle candles. Wie schafft man Licht? How does one create a candle? Man nimmt Bäumel oder Holz und das gleich. You take oil or a piece of wood. Das heißt, a ganz bestimmte Sache, man wärmt das an. You take something, you take a physical substance, you warm it up. Bis es wird gashmi, and then you get it nice and hot. It starts to lose its identity. Und es hebt dann zu leuchten in dem ganzen Raum. And everything around it starts lighting up. Die Licht, was mit zint an Chanukah, kommt von die Licht, was mit vielleicht zint in den Beis Hamikdash. The candles that originates from the candles that were lit in the Holy Temple. In Beis Hamikdash vielleicht man jede Nacht zinnen Licht. In the Beis Hamikdash, in the Holy Temple, actually, they would light candles every single day of the year. Not only Chanukah. Aber in der Zeit von des Chanukah is nicht gewinnt kein reine Bäumel zu zinnen die Licht. So as we all know, when the story of Chanukah happened, which was during the second Holy Temple, so they, when they entered the temple after the Greeks ransacked it, they couldn't find any pure olive oil to kindle the candles of the menorah. So Hashem made a miracle that they were able to discover and find one single jug of oil that was pure and still had an intact chosm b'chisam shel Kohen Gadol, which the Kohen Gadol, which is actually the person which kindled the candle, he would put his own seal on every single jug of oil. So they miraculously found one jug still intact with this special seal. Die Bäumel was in Pach is given genug kein auf ein Tag. So as the story of Chanukah goes out, like we all know, this one jug had enough oil for it to last just one day. It's worthy to note that in the temple, when they would kindle the candles, they would light all of the 7 candles were lit every single day. So when it says that they found just one single jug of oil that was still pure and intact, it was enough to put into 7 cups, which would burn for one day. That means the cups were pretty big because it was able to burn for an entire day. We're talking about 24 hours. So a miracle happened that they were expecting it to be extinguished. When you burn oil, eventually the oil gets used up and burnt out, and then the candles no longer have a flame. So a big miracle happened that the oil wasn't used up. It just remained there for 8 days. Zum Andenken von dem Nest sind men Licht. So they commemorated and to thank Hashem for this miracle. So we kindle candles alle 8 Tage from Chanukah, and we do this for 8 days because the miracle happened for 8 days. Niet gucken ik if them was die Licht van Chanukah kommen von die Licht von Mikdash. So true that the candles of Chanukah come and stem from the lights of from the candles which were lit in the Holy Temple. Von deswegen seien sie voneinander geteilt in etliche Sachen. Nevertheless, there is we're going to point out, the Rebbe is going to point out 4 differences or discrepancies between the menorah of the temple and then the menorah of Chanukah. The first difference is Beis Hamikdash is allemaal gewend dieselbe Zahl Licht. I mentioned this before. When they would kindle the menorah in the temple, it was the same amount every single day, 7 candles every day, rain or shine. And Chanukah gibt men zu jede Nacht nach Licht. Today, when we light the Chanukah menorah, every day it's a different number and we increase. The first night 1, the second night we light 2 candles and so forth. Second difference is the Beis Hamikdash flecht man anzünd die Licht dafke by Tag. The Holy Temple, they will they would kindle it at what time of the day when it was still light outside. It's not given good lichtig when not only was light but it was the sun was shining pretty bright, which was I think took place in the early afternoon. Aber Chanukah sind wir nach dem wie die Sonne vergeht. When do we light the Hanukkah candles? We all know when it's already dark outside, or when it begins to get dark. Third difference is there's make the given in Venik. Where did they place the menorah in the temple? It was all the way inside, and there weren't even I don't think there were even any windows in the room in the temple where they would light it. And there's Hanukkah's mitzvah lanicha pesach besim pachutz in Dreisen. Where do we put the menorah? We do it either. Well, there's different customs. Either you put it by the window, facing outside. The Chabad custom is that you put it by a doorpost, but it's still in facing towards the outside. And then some people even actually put it outside. You find this pretty common in Israel. And fourth difference is so in the temple, however, it wasn't outside; it was all the way inside. The fourth difference is in the midst there's Hamikdash is given in der Zeit, wenn Jeden haben nicht gefällt in Gashmias. The the time period when the menorah was kindled in the temple, or for that matter, in the times of the Mishkan, when the Jewish people were in the desert, there was a time when the Jewish people weren't suffering much. They weren't lacking what they needed in the physical sense. That means they were not oppressed. Speziell in der Zeit von Mishkan und Midra haben Eden gehabt, als was sie darfen, especially, more specifically, when the Jewish people had a tabernacle, when they sojourned in the desert, the Jewish people had everything what they needed. Essen, they had all food that they needed. They didn't have to cook. They didn't have to deal with leftovers, with feeding vegetables to the children. None of that. Everything was right there. Wasser haben sie gehabt von Be'er Shal Miriam. They had plenty of water, no droughts. Every day they had fresh spring water from the well of Miriam. Und die Levushim, euch Levushim haben mitgewachsen mit See, and their clothing even grew with them. They didn't have to deal with sales, Black Fridays. This doesn't fit me. It doesn't fit me. I'm losing weight. I'm gaining weight. None of that. They had the same clothing, and it just grew with them. Und given ständig rain. It was always clean. No laundry, no detergent, no hanging to dry. None of that. Also ist echt die Mitzvah von den Nessen gegeben geworden wie mehr Schleime. And in the times of the temple too. In the times of King Solomon, was his given Shalom in sein Zeit, it was actually one of the best and prime times of the Jewish people. It was a pretty peaceful time. Nobody waged war with the Jews. Adrabim hat noch ze gezahlt Mass. Not only that, but all the other nations were paying taxes to the Jewish people. Everybody was sitting peacefully under their backyard. And the same thing in the spiritual realm. But it was a pretty peaceful time. Because if everything is taken care of for your physical needs, geht man sich in ganzen weg if the Torah mitzvah, so then you could just totally devote yourself to Torah and its commandments. Ruchnistige Sachen, you could devote yourself to spiritual pursuits, Yiddish Sachen, to the Jewish stuff. Parenthetically, if I could add, this is the whole reason why we're begging and wanting for Mashiach to come, because when Mashiach comes, all of our physical needs will be taken care of, so we could really focus on what's important in life. We don't have to get distracted with life's distractions. Kegen, aber there's kann ich jetzt einfach in der Zeit, was das Land ist given unter Moshe's Yavin. Now compare this to the period of time when the miracle of Chanukah happened, which was towards the end of the Second Temple. It wasn't in the greatest times, because the land of Israel was under the rulership of the Greek Empire, and the Yiddish army is given Zera Klein in Seoul. It was a very small army. I wonder how this would compare modern day IDF, comparing that with the, let's say, the Syrian or Jordanian armies. It would be interesting analysis to compare modern day IDF with the small Jewish army that was in those times. But anyways, in the times of Chanukah, it was a tiny, tiny Jewish army against thousands upon thousands of Greek soldiers. Also, eichen Ruchnius is nicht gewinnt kein Shementar filo if ein Nacht. This spiritually also it was a very spiritually depraved time because as we said before, with it was very hard for them to find oil. Oil represents spirituality, so it wasn't just a technical thing that they couldn't find pure oil, but it symbolized that the Jewish people then, in the times of the story of Hanukkah, were in a very spiritually depraved time. Die alle gelukken zijn verbunden ene met de andere. Now that I was going to connect the four discrepancies between the story of Hanukkah and comparing that to better times of the Jewish people. So they are all connected. B'shas es is good in Gashmis and Mela Eichin Ruchnis canal. So when one lives in a time where he has all of his physical needs are taken care of, so it goes hand in hand that his spiritual needs will also be taken care of, as we have explained before. Warum wenn ein Yid hat, geht mit der offener Hand und mit der breiter Hand, if in Yonim Ruchnis, because if you are satisfied, if you have everything that you need spiritually, so you could gladly and with an open hand, you could devote yourself pretty well to spiritual needs. So it's not necessary to go and start waging wars and to have self sacrifice because you have everything that you need. Nobody's pressing you. So when you don't have all life's problems, you could devote yourself to a spirituality. That is genug as jeder Tag soll sein dieselbe Zahl. So when you're living in such a time when there's no physical distractions, there's no oppression, so you could suffice with lighting every day the same amount of candles. Man muss nicht zugeben noch. You don't have to increase in the light. Warum es geht als normal. Everything is going status quo. Everything is going normal. Like they say, if ain't broken, don't fix it. So you could suffice with just lighting the same amount of candles every day. Also ich darf nicht legen keine Status beleuchten die gas. You don't have to go and put much effort in lighting up this street. Like we said before, the custom is to have your menorah facing the outside. Die gas, die Welt is nicht finster because when you're living in such a time, the streets are not spiritually dark. Die menorah hat gebrannt in Beis Hamikdash, uv'meil is given licht gekregen gas because you had one menorah sitting and being lit in the temple, and with that already you just automatically dissipated any darkness that was out there. Actually, there was no darkness in the first place. However, when you're living in a difficult time, a difficult situation, a Zeit von Milchames, times of war, und nicht nur Milchames mit Yevanon, auch mit Islam, and sadly, you're not just fighting with another nation, but even within the Jewish nation, you had people that the Hellenists, people that converted to the Greeks, and that's a much tougher battle, a much painful battle. Warum es seine gewähne seine Jiden, was haben nicht gehalten von Beis Hamikdash? You had a group of Jews, believe it or not. Sadly, today too, in modern times, you have such Jews. They didn't hold from the Holy Temple, nicht gehalten von Selbstständigkeit, and they didn't hold from this whole thing of keeping to the tradition. Gewollt assimilieren sich mit den Yavanim. They wanted to assimilate with the modern day culture, which in those times it was the Greek culture, and today you have people that want to blend into a modern society. Und das ist schwer in Zustand, so when you're in this difficult situation, hat der Eberste gegeben die Mitzvah von Chanukah. So Hashem said, here, I know it's going to be tough for you, so here, I'm giving you a rope to hold on to, and that is the mitzvah of kindling the Chanukah candles. And as outside, Father sich Mesiris Nefesh, and in such a time, it is necessary to have self-sacrifice. In that site is wenig as men soll machen lichtig bei sich in Stub. So in such a time, you can't suffice with just saying, well, I'm just going to light up my own house. I don't mean to go and start burning down homes. I mean, we mean it in the Rebbe means it in a spiritual form. So it's not enough to just light up your own house. Even gas is finster because you go out to the world. It's a dark and confused world. Und die Finsternis von Gas kann durchsperren euren Stub, and you gotta make sure that this darkness should not infiltrate into your house. Daarvan legen de status of verlichten the gas. So therefore, in such a time, you really got to put a lot of effort to light up the outside, not just your own house. And zit Chanukah, wenn es finster und lementier dafke. That's why you have to kindle the Chanukah menorah. You do it when it's dark outside, because that's the whole point. It's in a time when there's darkness, there's confusion out there. So you got to go and light up the outside. To light up the street. Es ist wenig, was wird zinnen Licht bei sich auf den Tisch. It's not enough that you just light your menorah just on your own private table at home. Whereas oder even Schreibtisch und you're gonna write it on your dining room table or on your desk. When even the tier they has the licht so leichten eigen gas, and then you're just by the way gonna open the door so some of the light could seep out to the outside. That's not enough. I mean, in the licht 11 tier, you got to put it right next to the door. And that which means you got to put effort. If beleuchten die gas to go out there and spread the message of truth. Euch is wenig die Zoll licht van die friedige Nacht. And that is why in Chanukah you can't have the same amount of candles every night. Voor men kan zich niet beanoogenen met dem was men is niet geworden niedriger. Met dem was men is niet geworden because you can't suffice and say, well, look, I'm not getting any worse. My spiritual situation is not deteriorating. That's not enough. That you're just keeping to your status quo of your spiritual growth. When steht even selber Matze vernachten, you're going to stand in the same standpoint as you stood the day before. Gain it's not enough. You got to keep on increasing and increasing in your spiritual growth. From them is so what's to summarize what we have spoken? In a Zeit, was die Finsternis is grace, in a time period when the darkness is great. Daarom niet een spel werden van de finsternis. So don't get intimidated from the darkness. Was in Gas that the darkness that's going on, that's going out there, that's going on out there. There are other Mesiris Nefesh. You got to go with self-sacrifice. Put all of your agendas aside. Verleichten die gas. Go out there, light up the street. Jede Tag zugeben mehr und mehr Lichtigkeit, and every day just keep on increasing and increasing more of this light. Bis men wird brengen nach Shemator till we merit to the time when we're going to have the pure oil, Reino and klare Boimel, nice and pure oil. The Efen den darf sein, and there's three ways how we have to approach this. The first thing is, man darf sich nicht begnügen mit dem Maßlich, was man hat bei lichten Nächten, like we said before. You can't suffice with how much light you have brought to the world yesterday. You got to keep on increasing and increasing. We can't stop for a moment. Heint ein Licht, morgen zwei, even morgen drei, and so weiter. Today 1, tomorrow it's 2, the next day it's 3, and even bald mit der Sache kann man doch nicht springen mit einmal. Now this is very important. You can't just say, well, I'll just go out there and just jump in and to turn over the world. You got to do it one mitzvah at a time. If you're going to go and jump and just push the pedal to the metal and just say, well, I'm going to go full throttle, that's not going to work either. You go gradually. You start off with one light, or and the same thing is with mitzvahs. You start off with one mitzvah, and you see it's going well. Then you take on upon yourself another mitzvah. Take it easy. Take it gradually. Aber man darf bald sein gerät auf 10 morgen 12. But just keep in mind that the next day you're gonna have to light two. Whenever morgen 3, then you're gonna have to upgrade to 3. So that's the first point. You gotta keep on increasing the light. Second point is, man darf sich nicht begnügen damit, was man macht lichtig bei sich im Stub. You can't suffice with just making yourself lit up to inspire yourself. That's not enough. Mele wird sein lichtig gas if you and to say, well, automatically somehow the street out there will be lit up. It doesn't work that way. Man darf legen histalus if zu beleuchten die gas. You got to really put an effort to go and light up the street. Third point is there are two gangs to them that have mit Mesiris Nefesh. The attitude God's got to be with self-sacrifice. Azevi the Inyanes, which is the same idea as a miracle. A miracle is that it's going beyond nature. Hechefenteva. It cooked efim mit a krumer oig. So some people are gonna give you roll their eyes and give you this look like who is this guy? Like what is he doing? He's putting on these leather boxes in the middle of the airport. Definitely spell and don't get intimidated from it. Und dann mit Messias Nefesh, do it with self-sacrifice, Eisfin, die Schlichus of the Ebesh im geschickt. You just do your thing, fulfill the mission that Hashem gave to you. Das meant by jeder Yidna. This is what it's demanded and expected from every single Jew. As wissen as there is an ambassador. You should know that you are ambassador of God. If to unwarm die Gashbistum sein Teilwelt, to warm up your part of the world which you reside in. Bis as wird beleuchten, you light up yourself and everybody around you. The even in dem darf sein, and the attitude has to be nicht mehr doen sich mit was hat aufgetan nachten. Again, don't suffice with this which you have accomplished yesterday to look back and say, hey, but I did this and this yesterday, so I could mark it off on my checklist. That's not enough. Allah told to give him mehr licht every day. Let's see what else could I do. What more light could I add to the world? Men darf wissen was man hat aufgetan nachten. You got to keep track of what you have accomplished yesterday. To wissen wie viel zum Beispiel sein heint, so then you know, okay, today I yesterday I reached from A, B till C, so today I got to reach to D. Und geht mit dem Weg. So when we're going to go with this attitude, and geht mit dem serious nefesh, so we go with self-sacrifice. Man begnügen sich nicht damit, was man macht, lichtig bei sich. That you're not sufficient. You don't suffice with lighting yourself up. Man begnügen sich nicht damit, was man hat schön aufgetan. You're not satisfied with this that one has already accomplished in the past. Hat man dem Zusage safe wird Tage also. Es wird lichtig in Gas. Eventually the world out there is going to get lit up. When alle mol mit mehr licht, and it's going to increase and increase. Bis man gefit Shem and Torah. If once in the base of Megiddo until we're going to reach the time when Mashiach comes, when we'll have the pure oil and kindle the menorah in the temple. May it be very soon.